I just, how do I put it? He worked into me slowly. One minute he's so nice, and then it goes back to the same thing. And you think it's going to get better, and then it goes back to the same thing. And it's just like hitting a wall. So you think it's all going to get better, and you hit the wall. And you can believe 1,000 times over he's not going to do it again. But leopards don't change their spots, do they? So I think that my mum never hit me. My dad never hit me. I don't get it, like, you know what I mean? No one ever bashed me, so for someone to take control of you, so good and easy to have that and have pain inflicted, and it did hurt. It wasn't like it was something that it was just like a little whack on the side. And the first time it happened, I was in Spain, and it happened with him, and that's where I remember I was cleaning the place out where we were moving into. His friend walked in, and was mopping the floors, but it was too wet. The floor was too wet, and he was bringing his friends in, although I was trying to clean the place. And I remember I was more outspoken back then, and I remember saying something like, "Oh, for God's sake, or for sake," you know, as we all do, anyone would say it. Mm. And that's when the first time he hit me. Because he was a cleaner when I first met him. And that's what he was showing me to do. I had to do it properly. For example, his socks. If I had washed everything and folded, cleaned and done everything, even if he had 20 socks in the drawer, he'd always want one pair of socks that I don't know where the hell they were. And if he didn't have those socks, he would lose the plot for a pair of socks. I used to run around like at the end of it. I used to make sure everything was spotless, like just double checking everything, double checking. Oh, I used to have to vacuum, instead of vacuuming the floors, because we didn't have a vacuum, I used to have to get down and dust. Use a dustpan and dust the floor. Now I think about it, it seems really bizarre, but actually it works. But I'd get down and do that, because if he found anything on the carpet, I remember keeping food in the cupboard like chips or chocolates, and I wasn't allowed to eat them. He'd pick them out of the cupboard and eat them in front of me and go, "That's not what you're supposed to be eating." It all had to be healthy because he was training, yes. And it had to have no fat, no this, no that. Yeah, he was psycho about that too. If it had, every now and then he'd accept it, and then he'd want to eat it, but I wasn't allowed to. I had to stay skinny. I remember, like, sometimes I like twisties or, you know, just anything, chocolate bars. Not allowed to have them in the house, because then he'd want them. I remember hiding stuff in the cupboard where it'd be like all different, so say it's your sauces and stuff, but I'd shove it right at the back, and he found it still, like anywhere like that. Even if I put it underneath something or inside, I know I used to do stuff like that. That's how pathetic I got. Like, seriously, even like in the laundry, I'd put stuff, like, just every now and then, like, I just want to have a chocolate. And I used to go up to the bakeries and eat all the creamy cakes and just enjoy everything. And when I got home, I'd be like, I didn't eat anything, no. So it doesn't matter if anyone could see it around me. My whole family could see it. They saw the bruises when he first was with me, and my mum would always go, "What's that?" In the end, you lie to yourself. You tell yourself you got hit and you think you've done it. There was another time where he bashed the hell out of me in the back of the car, and even someone else notified the police, like, because they saw the blood in the back of the car with the kid. So I got an injection, and it wasn't even meant to have an injection, because I told them I tripped over and hit a metal bar. They believed me, or it was a bit funny, but I was just hysterical or whatever, and I was like, oh, I don't know what happened. And I believed it so much in the end that anytime something happened, I really believed I did it. And you go, like, you just, in the end, you're emotionally distraughted, trust me, and you don't know what's right or wrong. You don't know which way you're going. It's like that Goffman theory. Have you ever heard of that? Where it's a theory where it's the front stage and backstage. You put on a front stage when you're around other people, but when you're at home, it's like the backstage, so you don't really know, no one knows you what's happening. But you put this front on when you're around other people, and that's what I swear I was doing. It was 5 years like that, yeah, like just